out of the city of Umuahia. The reason is not far-fetched. The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, who has claimed that Nigerians were better off under the PDP, was in the Umuahia Township Stadium for the presidential rally in Abia State. At that meeting, he said he had set aside $10 billion for the development of the southeast region, and said other needs in the area, like the rehabilitation of federal roads and provisional railways, will be addressed if he is elected. Now, he also went on to say that he was part of the team that got the approval for the Abia dry port, and that was in a bid to buttress his resolve to ensure there's an enabling environment for business in the state. Meanwhile, the governor of Abia State was conspicuously absent at that rally. And some persons believe may not be unconnected with the decision of the G5 governors not to support the presidential candidate of the party until the Iocha steps down as the national chairman. Well, unlike what happened in during the time of the late Professor J. Kone, when Wike handed over the flag, this time around, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State, Okiahiwe, received the flag of the People's Democratic Party from the national chairman, Iocha Ayu. Joining me in the studio this morning is the Director of Media and Publicity, Atiku Okowa Campaign Organization, Abia State, Chief Kingsley Megwara. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Barak.
All right, so we had you a couple of days before the event proper. I mean, that's an event that everybody had talked about, should have happened a long time ago, and then it just seemed as though, at some point you had cited logistics each in one of the press releases. At some point, the death of Professor Ikone. Well, the dust is settled now, and I mean, you had a beautiful outing. Would you say that?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody who came out to the stadium to welcome our presidential candidate and all of the entourage that came with him. But you know that times are very hard, and it was extremely difficult to get logistics together, particularly vehicles to convey people from Arochukwu and from Okwa and the rest of the most of the drivers, the transporters. They don't know anything about give me your account, let me send the money to you. They are people who deals with cash every day to be able to buy petrol and so on and so on. So but above all of that, Bara, the campaign organization is extremely very happy that we not only filled up that stadium, there was an overflow. So from our party chairman, Dr. Sifa Okere, to the PCC chairman, the deputy governor of Abia State, to the southeast chairman of the Atiku Okowa organization, to Chief Charles Ogbene, who is managing us here in Abia. Everybody is extremely very excited how we were able to pull that amount of crowd at the stadium. Additionally, and what makes us happy is that unlike our brothers of the APC in their last convention, they imported people from Kogi, imported people from all around the states to fill up our stadium. Everybody you saw at the Umuahia Township Stadium, other than those who came from Abuja with Mr. President in waiting, are people from Abia State. We do not import anybody. Folks that you saw at the stadium were people from Okwa all the way to Arochukwu, and that made us extremely very happy. The crowd behaved, and they listened to the man who will be president. So this morning, I, Kingsley Megwara, on behalf of Chief Charles Ogbene, want to say how extremely grateful we are to not just our party faithfuls, but those who came to simply hear from the man who will be the next president.
Well, I had in the introduction noted that Atiku said he was marking $10 billion for the Southeast. And well, he made an allusion to when, not an allusion, he talked about when he had addressed a group of businessmen from the Southeast, generally because Aba is the capital of the Southeast. That's the way he described it. He's also talked about other areas that will be looked into if he becomes president. Now, the question is Abia State not part of Nigeria? Do we necessarily have to have a PDP government at the center before our federal needs are attended to?
Well, Bara, Nigerians by now have realized that what comes from Aba and what comes from Onitsha can transform this whole country.
Okay.
That Mr. President in waiting, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, had promised $10 billion US to infuse principally into business in Aba and Onitsha is pivotal to us going forward with the economic plan of Mr. President. So those of us in Abia were extremely very happy. When you hear $10 billion will be pumped into Aba and pumped into the Onitsha business community to get us rejigged once again. Let me tell folks who are listening to me this morning, Atiku Abubakar's track record is favorable to Ndibo. As a young custom officer, Atiku Abubakar is on record to allow Igbo businesses, and mind you, we were heavily devastated business-wise following the civil war and everything. So Igbo businesses were struggling and so on, But this man, along the line, as a custom officer, was very friendly to a lot of Igbo businessmen. He will allow and cut corners for businessmen from Igbo extraction.
Is that not illegal?
Well, they came back to pay from the demurrages of those containers to everything that was accruable to the government. But what he did was did a little bend of the paperwork so that these people can get some oxygen to breathe. So we remember that. I don't like to play up the fact that he married one of our sisters. That's irrelevant in the game. What is relevant is, what is this man's track record? His track record speaks volume. And that's why some of us are thinking that he has a better chance to be our next president. Let me tell you this, Bara. Whatever anybody wants to say, we have a big respect for our brother of the Labour Party. But Bara, I have always insisted to you, Kingsley Megwara has placed on record that I think it's extremely dangerous for the entire Ndibo to put all of our eggs in one basket. The mathematics and the arithmetic is showing indications that Atiku Abubakar has a great chance, a very great chance to be president. And that's why some of us are following him. So anybody who is following our brother in the Labour Party, we have respect for them. And you will never hear anybody in our campaign in Abia State say anything derogatory about our brother in the Labour Party who is running. Decent guy, very, very likable. But we say, let's go to the paperwork and look at the numbers. And the arithmetic is supporting Atiku Abubakar as our next president.
You keep talking about the numbers, you keep talking about numbers. And Dr. Yochai, who is the national chairman of the party, in his remarks, called on the people of the Southeast not to vote for the Labour Party presidential candidate. He says a vote for him would only enhance the chances of the All Progressive Congress, the candidate who is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and insists that for you to be a part of the winning team, put your vote for PDP because PDP is going to win. I mean, he sounded very confident at the Umar Township Stadium. But then on the other hand, there was a great movement for Labour Party, guess where? Lagos State, that has shut down social media. If you compare and contrast the impact of the rally in Abia State and that of Lagos, I mean, that of Lagos seems to have, taken the center stage. It's a trend on Twitter. Very little people are talking about, the impact of the Atiku rally in Abia State. Now, if having juxtaposed this together, are you still certain of the numbers that you have?
Very much so, Bara. Very much so. When our national chairman called on Ndibo to say, please follow this way, there is a pathway here. That's a very, very legitimate appeal to Ndibo. There is no doubt, and I like to be very objective, there is no doubt that the emergence of our brother from the Labour Party will chip in into our support base. Here in Abia State, for example, we have a projection. If anybody goes out there and say PDP is going to sweep the whole Kingsley Maguire has not said so. What I have consistently said is that we are going to be competitive in this state. You can take it to the bank. Competitive in the sense that we've been around for 16 years. Competitive in the sense that people have seen the difference between the PDP-led government of Goodluck Jonathan and the APC government led by Muhammadu Buhari. They have seen, Bara, a liter of petrol that I just pumped before I came to your station at the filling station close here, 450 naira, Bara. A bag of rice that my wife just bought on Friday for 42,000 naira. Nigerians are seeing all of this. Nigerians are not stupid. They are seeing all of this. Nigerians have decided that it is better for us to go back to the PDP administration than in this hellfire that we are currently experiencing under the APC-led administration. I don't want to take anything away from our brother of the Labour Party, but I do say that what you see in Lagos was quite picturesque, no doubt. What you see on the social media.
What do you mean by that?
It was pictures. It was pictures, including some of the pictures that were amplified. I'm in the media team. I know what we do to pictures. Some of those pictures were amplified. However, our brother of the Labour Party is a legitimate contender in this election. But we are only arguing that, yes, do it in Lagos. Yes, you can, have those movement in the southeast, go into the deep north and replicate.
You realize that concert, that rally in Lagos was more of a concert, and the Labour Party were able to employ some of the Nollywood and the Nigerian music folks, incorporate them. That gave that a huge boost.
Absolutely.
In your methods, you've not really, catered for the entertainment scene. You really do have people from the entertainment world supporting Atiku's cause. Is there anybody from that sector who has lent a voice?
But this is not. Nigeria is at a crossroad.
Okay.
It's no longer entertainment for us. What we are doing is the kind of education I'm giving to our listeners today. Let me tell you, in our preparation leading to Atiku Abubakar coming in, I went to Chief Charles Obwene and said, we need a marquee musician to come up and entertain. And he just said, Kingsley Maguire, please, can you walk away from my house? We are in a dangerous situation in the country right now. This is not a time for two-faced Idibia. This is a time to educate Nigerians and say, folks, we are at a crossroad. Nigerians are at a crossroad. We are bleeding from all facets, and we need a unifier to come up. That's the message I want you to preach at the stadium. And that was the message I had tried to convey to our people. Raw facts. And you didn't see a two-faced Idibia or any of the guys that will come and shake bottom. It's no longer about shaking bottom. It's about shaking the stomach, and people are hungry in this country.
Okay, we'll take a look at some of the promises Atiku Abubakar has said he plans to do for the Southeast. The Eastern Railway Line, Abai Kotek-Mene Road, to enhance transportation. And a lot more. Let's start off with that too. $10 million to improve the ease of doing business. Do we have such money available?
Well, 10 billion. It's not in the me, it's in the B.
Okay.
It's $10 billion. But let me tell you something. And that something is going to come out of what Atiku Abubakar plans to do. There is a lot of waste currently going on in our country. That waste includes NNPC today cannot even tell us how many barrels of oil we are pumping out from our reservoirs. Nobody has record of everything. There is recklessness everywhere. This man thinks through prudent management of our resources, we will generate $10 billion. Do you know how much we generate every day by the sale of our oil? And so $10 billion is pale. It's pale in all ways you can think about it. The money is there, and the money is going to come from plugging all of the leakages that we currently have today. From the National Assembly all the way down, there is leakages of gargantuan proportion. Everywhere, leakages. And he said, I'm going to come back on board and see how we can plug all of these leaks, and that will help us a lot going forward.
Okay, so that's another issue, that's been talked about. That's the former Abia Senator Adolphus Nwabara. He's revealed that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Abubakar Atiku, has vowed to release Nnamdi Kanu if he assumes office. Well, the Nnamdi Kanu issue is a very sensitive one. Would you say, not necessarily, how do I place this now? I need to be very careful in my construction. Would you say that statement is political? Was it necessary for him to have made such a statement, considering that there are circumstances which the family and, of course, the Southeast has found themselves considering the Nnamdi Kanu scenario?
Well, it's not political. If you be in our closed-door meetings with almost most of the Igbo leaders, it's a slap on the face of all of us that our brother is still where he is. And so when Senator Adolphus Nwabara made that, it wasn't a political statement at all. It is the belief, and it is the fight of every Igbo leader, including those in the National Assembly, by the way. There have been secret meetings, reaching everybody who needed to be reached about the plight of our brother Nnamdi Kanu. And as Onyo Mwahia, I feel slapped that young man is still languishing in jail. Something has to be done. And so when Senator Adolphus Nwabara said that, it wasn't political at all. It captured what Ndibo feels about our brother. First and foremost, he's from Umuahia. And every one of us who are from Umuahia, who is from Umuahia, we have a compelling interest to defend our brother. I don't see anything that will stop us from doing that. So when the senator said that it wasn't political at all, we want him home. He's our son. And we want to appeal to everybody who is using his name to cause mayhem. Nnamdi Kanu is not a violent person. He's a freedom fighter. And Kingsley Megwara will join folks who say now is the time to have him come home and join his family.
Well, let's still having a conversation with Chief Kingsley Megwara. He's the Director of Media Publicity, Atiku Kowa Campaign Organization. More like a post-mortem of what happened on Saturday. Well, Saturday, yes. It is Standpoint on Rapid 96.5. When we get back, a lot more to still talk about right here on the show. So do not flip the button for any reason. We'll be right back in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
My guy, which kind paint have you used? We go make my house go well.
Na Sackloss paint.
Paint we go make my house shine.
Sackloss paint.
What about paint we go last for plenty years?
Na still Sackloss paint. Sackloss paint na ogbonge paint wey don win both national and international award on top paint matters.
Abeg, where dem dey?
Dem dey nationwide. Sackloss paint get one ogbonge wey dem call Sackloss satin paint. If dirty touch the paint, you fit use water and soap take clean and cha-cha. Sackloss paint get other ones like emulsion paint, test coat, gloss, sack flash car paint, matte, industrial marine coating, red oxide primer, aluminium, screening paint, auto varnish, and other Barbares products. For that correct building paint wey you need, na Sackloss paint. Their price na shipping. For more information, call 070 30 90 4125.
bụ Adukwaro Ada Chineke kechara chọmma ma kwadokwa ya n'ụzọ zuru oke maka ịnọchite anya anyị ka anyị sonyere ada anyị tozuru etozu gozuo agụzụ ma werekwa egwu Chineke na-eme ihe niile ka abịa North wee gbuzuo ma chake tụnyere ma kwado Barrister Dr. Mrs. Carol Dikokorafo maka ọkwa seneti nke Abia North ka ihe niile wee meziere anyị maka n'iru ka anyị kwado nne dị ọgọzụ oke amokwu n'ọrụ Igbo ji eme ọnụ ichebeko
The Abia State Election Debate Team has announced an adjustment to the schedule of the ongoing election debate as candidates and political parties have also adjusted their programs following the recent passing of the PDP flag bearer. The new schedule is as follows. Abia North Senatorial Zone, Friday, February 3rd, 2023. Abia Central Senatorial Zone, Saturday, February 4th. Abia South Senatorial Zone, Tuesday, February 7th. Deputy Governorship Debate, Tuesday, February 14th. Governorship Debate, Wednesday, February 15th. Participating candidates and political parties are to take note of the new schedule. For inquiries, call 0806 464 8667 or 0806 356 8266. Announcer, organizers, Abia State Election Debate Team.
Atiku na you go go, Atiku na you go win, Atiku na you go go, Atiku let's yo. Mama, papa, sister, brother, auntie, uncle. Make we come together, make we vote Atiku. I no go work for better Naija. Food go dey, light go dey, strike go end. Naija go better if we vote Atiku. I no go work for president yo. Everybody articulate yo, articulate. Everybody articulate yo, articulate. Igbo man articulate yo, articulate. Hausa man articulate yo, articulate. Yoruba man articulate yo, articulate. Other tribes articulate yo, articulate yo. PDP, PDP, power to the people, articulate. Vote umbrella.
Celebrating your family and friends has become cheap like a cup of tea, easy as ABC, and rapid like it should be. You can send birthday greetings and goodwill messages on Rapid FM for just 1,000 naira. Other events like weddings, child dedication, housewarmings, religious and government functions go for even less, 500 naira. Now, your loved ones have no excuse not to celebrate you rapidly on your day because all they have to do is visit our website at www.rapidfm965.com/request or call 07049 2209 65.
It's 11 days, 21 hours, and 27 minutes to the presidential and National Assembly elections slated for the 25th of February 2023. And of course, you're tuning to Rapid 96.5 on the frequency modulated band. In the studio with me as the Director of Media and Publicity Atiku Kowa Campaign Organization Chief Kingsley McGuire. Glad to have you, Kingsley.
Thank you, brother.
All right. We have spoken a lot about what Atiku promised and what transpired on Saturday, but then there's an issue that I would want to bring up. The Okowa convoy was attacked en route Umuahia, and prior to that day, the last time you were here in the studio, we had talked about what's the word now? An assassination attempt on Atiku. I mean, like, one can help but wonder if the two scenarios are connected. Is it coincidence or happenstance? What really happened to the Okowa convoy?
Well, the good news for some of us here in Abia State is that that incident did not take place in our state. From the reports that I heard in the media, that incident took place in somewhere around Ihiala. Okay. I want to report that we did not record one issue at the stadium. Everything we did at the stadium was very peaceful. However, it is very sad for those of us in the campaign when any life is lost. Those three officers sacrificed for the country, and in my own books, they are the heroes of tomorrow. They will be celebrated one day. Anybody that is part of bringing progress back to Nigeria ought to be celebrated. Unfortunately, they were waylaid on the road and assassinated. That's what I called it. We have always appealed to Ndibo generally. There is no room for violence. Nigerians are one. I've always preached one Nigeria. And what we should be doing as a country now, Bara, is to pull together the cohesive forces of brotherhood and sisterhood. I don't believe when people say he's a Yoruba man, he's an Hausa man, he's an Igbo man. When we leave the shores of this country, we are more united. And I told you that I lived in Atlanta for 28 years. My best friend in Atlanta is an Hausa boy. We see ourselves as one when we live here. So why are we fighting internally? I don't like when people, and I grew up in Lagos going to a Muslim school. My best friends were people of the Muslim faith. We celebrate the Muslim culture as we did the Christian culture. That was the Nigeria we once knew. We need a unifier, somebody who will come and pull us together. And I don't like to hear anything that will pull us apart. So our heart bleeds for those men we lost somewhere in Ihiala, and may God receive them kindly in heaven.
All right, so there's a news that's trending right now. That's the invitation to DSS and all that. Former Minister of Aviation in Femi Fani-Kayode and a member of the All Progressive Congress Presidential Council says he has been invited by the DSS over a tweet. Now, that tweet, he had quoted a newspaper report that Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of PDP, met with some unnamed army general. And the former minister said army has since denied the claim. Well, he said glad the army had cleared the air and denied reports about meeting between officers and Atiku. Happy that the newspaper referred to has proved to be false. But then, what is the talk about meeting generals, a coup in the offing, and all of that? I mean, it just smeared the whole Atiku campaign, so to say.
Well, Bara, I want to place on record, and anybody can invite me to buttress that. Fani-Kayode is a very unstable character, and Nigerians already know that. It is also very dangerous for those of us who do media work to make utterances. What Kingsley Megwara says here this evening, this morning, can be used against me in future. I have always argued to all of the media professionals that we need to be very measured in our utterances. There are things we will say that can unnecessarily incite the populace. Fani-Kayode, in my opinion, is a very unstable character, and Nigerians are not taking him serious anymore. There's a distinction between doing political propaganda and the rest of them. We all know how to do that. But once you cross that line, it becomes extremely very dangerous. If the DSS have invited him, they have a right to do so. Any one of us who makes inflammatory remarks out there that are capable of breaking down law and order, they will invite him. Anything I say on this radio right now that is inflammatory, before I walk into my car, they will pick me up, and I will bear the responsibility and consequences. So all of us talking on radio should be very aware of and sensitive to the dangers of our utterances.
Well, the acting director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Chukwu Guso, in a statement said the armed forces of Nigeria remain loyal to the Constitution and will never be a part of any evil plot against the democracy of Nigeria. I'll read a quote. The armed forces of Nigeria notes with dismay the story being peddled around by some unscrupulous elements alleging that some military officers met with a presidential candidate to disrupt the general elections and set the country on fire. The wicked and malicious propaganda indicate that so-called Thursday meeting is plotting a coup d'etat to establish an unconstitutional order. Continues, the armed forces of Nigeria is disheartened that even politically exposed persons can denigrate themselves into joining agents of destabilizations and violence and making false claims just to heighten tension in the polity. Away from that and back home, Chief Kingsley Megwara, the governor of Abia State, was conspicuously absent, inasmuch as the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State had his hand lifted and handed over a flag by the state chairman in the presence of your principal, Waziri Atiku Abubakar. It hasn't put to rest the fact that there may not be, there's still water boiling, I mean, in the House of the People's Democratic Party right here in the state.
No, I want to disagree with that. You saw the deputy governor who is the chairman of the Presidential Campaign Council
representing
here.
the governor?
And you saw everybody who was somebody in Abia PDP present, from Adolphus Wambara to Chief Onyem Mugochukwu and Samuel Huabonwa. Everybody who is somebody in Abia PDP was present at the stadium. Bara, I don't like to talk about the G5 anymore. I like to talk about the G Nigeria. The G Nigeria, estimated 230 million Nigerians who are looking for a presidential candidate who will come in and manage the country a little better than what we now see. Those are the people that matters. Can you balance G5 against G 230 million? The pendulum swings to the people. Nigerians are looking for somebody to come and change this downward slope that we found ourselves. So, as politicians,
it was also obvious that some executives of the Abia State government, some top officials were absent. Would you say the who is who in Abia State politics were completely represented?
Every reasonable politician of the PDP extraction, except those who are sick at home, every reasonable.
You have a lot of sick among you.
Every reasonable PDP politician was at the stadium to welcome our presidential flag bearer. And for those who didn't show up, they may have one or two reasons for not doing so. It doesn't matter what one or two persons do. It matters what estimated 4 million or 5 million Abians are feeling today. And we are feeling the crunch. We are feeling the pain. The average worker out there is feeling the excruciating pains of not even having money at hand. People can't go to the market to buy anything. People can't buy petrol. People can't buy cooking gas. People are struggling, and our heart bleeds for the average worker out there who has received so much excruciating pain as a result of the APC-led bad government. Help is on the way. And Waziri of Adamawa, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is going to change things around.
Well, that's what you say. But do you think that the rest of the 229 persons would agree with you? I probably will swing the phone lines open momentarily, trying so hard to get across to Gochukwu Mezwe, but unable to connect with him. One call here, 0916-0333-965. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Chief brother.
Yes, good morning. Glad to have you.
Good morning, Chief Kingsley, my brother.
My brother.
Who say man know there's the name I'm calling from Umaya? Please, I want to talk about the issue of presidential visit that happened on Saturday. I want to thank every faithful PDP members that graced that great occasion, irrespective of the challenges that we are experiencing today in the country. It's not peculiar in Abia State alone. We know the suffering, the scarcity of funds, scarcity of money, naira and good one. We talk about fuel scarcity and the high price of commodities in the market. Still, people made out their time to visit that increased occasion. And most importantly, the promise that our presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar promised Abians that is going to set out $10 billion for Abians and the Southeast. He talked about our rail lines in Abia State and the Southeast entirely. He talked about the federal roads that are in bad shape this time. He said a lot of things, talking about releasing our brother, by the grace of God, emerging as the next president of this country. We all know that the government of the day led by APC has disobeyed rule of law, releasing our brother who court has granted in several occasions. But unfortunately, they still kept him. So when Adolfo Swabara, beauty chairman of PDP, came out to tell us that if by the grace of God, Atiku emerges as the next president, which by the grace of God is going to be, that is going to release our brother, he is not mixing words. He is not saying it as a politics. Or you talk about the crowd and the people that came out to compare with what happened in Lagos State. We can talk about what is happening, the campaign rallies of Atiku Abubakar in Katsina State, in Yobe State, in Adamawa State. We saw what has been happening there. And moreover, we should be talking about people that are with their PVCs, people that are eligible to vote. It's not about crowds, people that don't even have anything to do in the election day. You see them running around, you see them shouting, you see them telling us they are going to do this. Unfortunately, in Abia State, we still have over 200,000 votes that INEC reported that people didn't come to collect. And those are the people that will tell us that PDP is not going to do anywhere. Can you compare PDP with the previous government that has kept Nigeria in this state of the nation that we are suffering today? We talk about how PDP in 2015, we are still buying a liter of kerosene 15 naira. How much are we buying it today? We talked about a bag of rice that was sold 7,500 naira in 2014, 2015. How much are we buying it today? We talk about the roads, this federal road, they were not this way when PDP were in power. But we talk about the killing, the insecurity that is ravaging the nation today. We talk about a lot of things. The budget of Goodluck Jonathan, the last budget he passed before he lost the election in 2015 was about 4.something trillion naira. Yet we are able to accommodate fuel subsidy. We are selling fuel 9 naira, selling kerosene 15 naira per liter. Things we are very, very cheap. Now, the latest 2023 budget that this people pass. This is where you're in a better position to tell us. Yet we are still trying this way. Nigerians are still yearning for change. We talk about Obi. Obi is our brother. He's a good man, and he's still a product of PDP. That's why I get angry with people when they say that they are supporting a Fulani. We are doing this to Fulani. 2019, when Obi ran with Atiku Abubakar, when Atiku brought him, Atiku was the first person that brought Obi closer, that positioned him to be his running mate in 2019. Unfortunately, we knew how that 2019 election happened. And people are saying that Atiku is different, man. He is not tribal like our current president today.
Okay.
Atiku has done good work to Abias, by the grace of God, he's going to
you have. All right, thank you very much. Oh, Megwara, you were just nodding there. It just seems like he was speaking your mind.
Well, Bara, he nailed it. And statistics do not lie. Reality do not lie. And people are in a position to compare then and now. And the difference is clear.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chief.
Glad to have you. What's your name, please?
God bless you. Good morning, sir. Kingsley Megwara. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
My name is Owakwechi Debere.
Glad to have
and
you.
I'm representing from Aropere University LGA. Yes, Atiku Abubakar is indeed the unifier. I thank God for a successful rally here on Saturday. Yes, Atiku has said a lot of things, but one that caught my attention was that of releasing Martin Nnamdi Kanu with his 100 days in the office. And I said, wow, a man that has been able to unify the whole of Nigeria. And also, a man that has love for the Igbo, extending it to India, $1 million that he will be investing for Ndi Ad, for small and medium enterprise. A man that has the same understanding when it comes to economy as it has to do with small and medium enterprise like Governor Kizipazo have, that are able to lift Abia from where it used to be to where it is today when it comes to small and medium enterprise. I think we said a very lot of things that will not come out here and start going in order. The only thing I want to do in Abia, that very 25th of February, take your PVC, vote PDP all the way. Because PDP has been able to make us to understand that there is difference between June and July. Look at what is happening today. How much are you buying a liter of fuel? Even if can you get it up more? Buying it. How much were you buying a bag of rice before the election? How much was transport from Umuahia to Abuja and Enugu today? The difference is very, very clear. So, please, you people should not be deceived by what that they call it. You can easily see the difference between Egbe and Egbe. Atiku came to Abia, and there was a very peaceful atmosphere. You cannot use it to compare with the kind of the sharp rally APC did at a point here where 2 by 2, 2 on 1 also, and other. PDP is a very big umbrella that is ready to accommodate every other person. So therefore, the Abia, they are in the Eba, his Rembulari.
Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. T.C. Bara.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, I want to greet our guests in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, brother.
I remember Mr. Jonathan calling you from Umuahia, Bendero, precisely.
Okay.
It's quite unfortunate that some people of Igbo extraction are campaigning and promoting Atiku Abubakar, saying that he is a unifier. When Atiku himself cannot unify his party, which has caused the G5 governors to decamp and not supporting him for his
G5 governors did they decamp? They've not gone to another party.
Yes, of course. Even though they have not gone to another party, but they are not supporting him.
Wow.
So what happened at the stadium the other day when the Atiku came? You see, so many of the PDP members they were not there. That goes to show you that actually Atiku is not a unifier. If he is a unifier, he should have unified all the members of his party and so that they will march forward to win the presidential ambition, which he is campaigning for. So it's quite unfortunate that some of our Igbo politicians are campaigning for him, whereas we have our own candidate, Mr. Peter Obi of Igbo extraction.
Don't say our, you can say your candidate. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Of course, my candidate and the choice of many Igbos. So they should try to support our own person. Because for a long time now, Igbos have been marginalized. And this is very clear. Everybody knows that. So it is our turn to, change the narrative and, grab that power, the seat of presidency, so that the Igbos will continue to march from strength to strength. So let all the Southerners support Mr. Peter Obi so that he will accomplish his ambition. Talking about Atiku Abubakar, well, I'm not saying that Atiku Abubakar is not a good candidate, but what I'm saying is that this is the turn of the Southeasterners, having been marginalized for a very long time now. That is why we should support our own person. So let us all join hands and use our PVCs to do the needful so that we will all smile at the end of the day. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for your contribution. I think he's quite an interesting man because he made you smile to a large extent. Do you agree with him?
Well, I agree to the extent that he said that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is a good man. I also agree to the extent that he said that in Igbo, over the years, that we are marginalized. Kingsley Megwara is one of those who says and cries out about the marginalization of Ndibo. But I don't like when people are sentimental about the game of politics. Yes, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party is of our extraction, but that will not dwarf the facts. The facts remains that I'm in this game of numbers, and we don't see it. I am convinced, Bara, that your radio station will be the first that I will come to.
You're going to give me an exclusive.
On the 26th day of February, and I think I will be vindicated. We are looking forward to a very peaceful election, and I have always argued to everybody, particularly the youths, do not kill yourselves because of any politicians. Most of us, by the way, the key actors. Their children are in the US and they're in London and they're in Australia and so on, including Kingsley Maguire, by the way, so they don't say you are talking about others. So if you are a youth out there, if you're a college student out there, please, in the name of God, do not take the laws into your hands because of any politician. We are looking forward to a free, fair, and credible election.
It sounds like you're making your last statement on the program. Let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sisi.
Yes, good morning.
This is Mr. K. I'm calling you from Umuahia.
Glad to have you.
To our guest in the house.
All right.
My own this thing is this. Atiku was among those who fought Jonathan of the PDP with APC and Buhari in 2015. Then, what I'm asking now, what is that beautiful thing that he thought he lost in PDP that made him come back to PDP? He should have remained in APC if he had found out that APC is the beautiful bride. So, it boils down, all this boils down to personal interest. When we are talking about capacity, we've got a brother, we've got an Igbo, and we've got a Nigerian that most of the people, especially the youths, are in support of that PDP. So anything that Atiku is coming to tell us here now, is still questionable because he fought against the same party that is using them as into Asoro. We don't believe in him.
You don't believe in him. I mean,
I don't believe in him. Yes, how many people don't believe in him? Yes.
You should personalize it.
All right, in my own case, I don't believe in him.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. K, for calling. Well, I rather people are open-minded because there are people who have called on this program and have said they want an Atiku Abubakar. I mean, Maguire wants Atiku Abubakar. So if you are calling and you're saying we, I'd rather maybe you say I am my household, just like case of Joshua. I am my family. We will serve the Lord. For Maguire and his family, you'll be voting for Atiku, right?
Well, definitely. I am telling my friends to not waste their votes with any other candidate other than Atiku. And I'm saying that...
Why would you describe it as a waste of votes?
Because I have seen Atiku's pathway. I've seen Atiku's pathway to the presidency. I mean, it's almost black and white for those who are following this game.
Even if Atiku is going to win, or eventually he wins, would you describe the other people's votes as a waste of votes?
No. Let me take that back. Folks can do what their conscience had asked them to do. But my job as media director is to convince as many minds as possible. That's my job. And I am saying that not on propaganda, but on pure objectivity, that I have said this is the pathway for Atiku Abubakar to be president. Call the media director of the Labour Party, let him come to the program with me and show me their pathway to the presidency. The facts don't lie. And that's what I stand on. Standing on a solid rock.
Most people who have spoken from the People's Democratic Party believe the architecture of the PDP will deliver all the candidates. What is it with the architecture of the PDP? That's the way of you to wrap this conversation up.
The architecture is solid, and it's an architecture of over 16 years. It's better than these makeshift houses they are now building. And so notice that in Abia State, that the pretty much PDP family is still very intact. And nationally, even the recalcitrant 5G governors or G5 governors are still, none of them had decamped the party. They've made their point, and as Nigerians, and we are in a democracy, and that's why I don't have anything negative to say about any one of them. Everybody will have to deal with his conscience at the end of the day. But what we will not allow is for anybody to fool the general population out of selfish interest. I don't like to talk about Governor Wike because if I talk about Governor Wike, I will pull the story surrounding Secondus. So if you don't get what you want, don't throw banana or a monkey wrench in the program. And that's what the much I can say about that. However, I have come to your program this morning with a strong message of thank you, Abia. Thank you, Abia, and thank you, Abians, for coming out to support our presidential candidate. And we are looking forward to the big day. And the big day will come and go, and folks will say, well, that man predicted it, and that day will be the 26th day of February, I will be back on your program, Barra.
Thank you very much, Chief Kingsley McGuire, for coming on the program. It's been a pleasure having you, and the countdown is on. Hopefully we'll have more conversations.
God bless you, brother.
Have a great day. Standpoint will make a return tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Of course, the news that the PDP Abia State has settled for a Jasper, Dr. Jasper Uche, to be the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party. We'll have a conversation about that tomorrow, so look forward to it at 10. I'm Temple Barra. Do have a splendid day. On behalf of all of the producer and executive producers, bye for now.